How y'all doing, my people? I'm back this time, hopefully trying to get y'all to look at life from a scientific perspective so that you can see that we are nothing more than characters in somebody's video game. Like, literally. Now, for those of y'all who saw The Matrix, I'm sure y'all done seen the Matrix series. In part two, where Neo meets, where he makes it to meet the architect. The architect lays it right down for him. The architect is the 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 writer, the programmer, the encoder of the Matrix, of the video game. It's basically his experiment, his pastime, so to speak. And we're just the characters in this game. Now, what I have right here is the script from the movie, or basically the part that I'm going to elaborate on now, which is basically the most important part. So listen up and pay attention. Now, this is the architect right here. This is the architect and Neo's conversation. It says, the architect. Hello, Neo. This is Neo. Who are you? The architect. I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and although the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also irrelevant. Now, mind you, he called Neo, he said you remain irrevocably human, meaning that the architect is not human. He's something else. You dig what I'm saying? Now this is Neo. Why am I here? The architect. Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent due to the programming of the Matrix. Let me repeat that. He said your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation. We're talking about mathematics here, man. Computer programming. Inherent to the programming of the Matrix. He said, you are the eventuality of an anomaly, which despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. It's right there. What he's basically saying is, as hard as he's been trying with this experiment, he keeps on coming up with these, for some reason, he keeps on coming up with these anomalies, you dig what I'm saying, that keep him having to keep on tweaking and trying to perfect this experiment. But he having trouble with it. Let me continue. He says, while it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here. So he basically saying that while it remains a burden assiduously avoided, meaning it's troublesome, you dig what I'm saying, and he's trying to avoid it, it is not unexpected, meaning it's inevitable. Like, this type of shit happen when you writing these programs and trying to, you know what I'm saying, create the perfect video game. You're gonna go through these little bumps in the road. It's just part of the process. You dig what I'm saying? And this is what he's saying. And because of that, has brought Neo, the character, here to him. Asking these questions. Why am I here? What's going on? You dig what I'm saying? Now, this is Neo. You haven't answered my question. The architect, quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others. So he basically saying, first of all, why would he say others? What others? You dig what I'm saying? So he's telling him, he's telling Neo that he's not the first of his kind. He's not the first version. He's just a version of many. He didn't experience his type before. But he's letting Neo know that, hold on, you advancing. You basically seen, because he tried to beat Neo in the head with some bullshit. He tried to get around asking him the question. He tried to get around answering his question, which was, why am I here? So he tried to hit him in the head with a whole bunch of jargon, you dig what I'm saying, thinking that he was going to throw Neo off, which he did with the other ones, with the other 5 versions, but Neo caught it. So he was like, quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others. So he's basically admitting to the programming, the actual programming that he's writing is evolving beyond his control. It's just an eventuality, but it's evolving, and it intrigued even him. Let me continue. The architect. The Matrix is older than you know, talking to Neo. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version. Neo, there are only 2 possible explanations. Either no one told me or no one knows. The architect, precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, meaning you catching on, you getting smarter, you evolving. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly's systemic creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations. Neo, choice. The problem is choice. The architect. The first matrix I designed, he's telling you, they putting it right there in your face. All these characters and the name that they giving these characters in the movie is not by chance. You dig what I'm saying? You know what an architect is? An architect is one who designs from scratch, whether it's a building, whether it's whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? An architect is one that writes blueprints. You dig what I'm saying? And when it comes to this computer shit here, you know what I'm saying? He's the author of the blueprint of existence, as far as we know. You dig what I'm saying? Humans and this world, the system that we live in, which is just a bunch of ones and zeros. But let me continue. He said, the first matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime. He said, a triumph equaled only by its monumental failure. He said, the inevitability of its doom is as apparent to me now as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being. Thus, I redesigned it. He done redid the shit again. You know what I'm saying? He created us in terms of mathematical programming. You dig what I'm saying? Just like any computer geek or computer programmer, you know what I'm saying, can identify this. This is why you have to think in terms of science, because that's what life is. You know what I'm saying? When you start dealing with high science, you can do any motherfucking thing. You dig what I'm saying? And these beings, or this particular being that wrote The program that we live in, which we call in life, that's what he's dealing with. You dig what I'm saying? Now he said, inheriting every human being. Thus, I redesigned it based on your history to more accurately reflect the varying grotesqueries of your nature. So he redesigned our environment, you know what I'm saying, based on the grotesqueries, the animal nature inherent within humans, which is us, the characters that he done made from whatever he made us from, because he know the nature of what he made us from. So he created our environment according to that. Like when you go buy hamsters, when you go buy a hamster, you go get the hamster where you go get the cage, you go get the filler and all of that. When you go in there, you know what I'm saying, you're actually purchasing, you know what I'm saying, the hamster, not only the hamster, but the cage and the filler and the wheel and all, that's his environment. You dig what I'm saying? You're actually you're setting up a world for that hamster. And that world is that cage. Let me continue. However, I was again frustrated by failure. I have since come to the understanding that the answer eluded me because it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Meaning he's so scientific and so perfection based, you know what I'm saying, that he was he was um he was outthinking himself. You dig what I'm saying? So he needed someone of a lesser mind, but not of a lesser mind, meaning less smart than him, but someone who would uh, think about the situation and deal with the situation from another perspective, a more spiritual perspective. Even though he didn't use that word, but that's what he meant. That's why he said intuitive program, meaning intuition, not mental. You get what I'm saying? Not logic, but intuition. And you'll see where that's going. Um, Thus, the answer was, he said, it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Thus, the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. Now we going inside now. If I am the father of the matrix, she, women are intuitive, women are feelers, men are doers, men are initiators. You know what I'm saying? We think logically, we think with our brain. Women feel, women think with their heart. She would undoubtedly be its mother. Who's the she that he's talking about? The Oracle in the movie, which happened to be a black woman, who also happened to have wrote The Matrix. It was a black woman. That's why they represented her in where they actually stole the script and she had to sue and all of that. But that was like their little tribute, you know what I'm saying, to her. But in the grand scheme of things, the female energy, the female aspect. Now this is Neo, the Oracle, the architect, please. As I was saying, like he's just so perfection bound, so male chauvinistic. You dig what I'm saying? Where he's just totally disregarding the female aspect. When Neo says the Oracle, he like, please. And that's what's wrong now with the world. Now everything is so male based. This is a male driven world. Everything is men. That's why the world is fucked up now, because they suppressing that other aspect, that female aspect of everything. There's positive and negative in everything. You can't have positive without having negative. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have negative and positive and positive. It ain't gonna work. And a light bulb, you know what I'm saying? In that light, there's a positive charge and a negative charge. You dig what I'm saying? Without those two opposing charges, that light wouldn't come on. You dig what I'm saying? So for people calling good and evil, night and day and all that, in all reality, it's actually positive in that you have to have both. Because if not, you will be in balance. And that's why the world is so fucked up now, because it's imbalance. Everything is male based. That's why it's so much killing and rape and murder and just bullshit. The way that the world is so fucked up because it's ran by males. And they suppressing that female aspect, that intuitive aspect, to where, well, I don't want to get all too much off topic. But okay, it said, now this is the architect. After Neo says, the oracle, he go, please. As I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects, listen to the verbiage, man. Test subjects. That's what we is. He said, as I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice. Even if they were only aware of the choice at a near subconscious level. Meaning, motherfuckers, you don't even fully understand, you know what I'm saying, what the choice is, what you even doing here. You just got a mere glimpse, a semblance of an understanding, and you're rolling with that. That's why we lost. Even if they were only aware of the choice at a near subconscious level. While this answer functioned, it was obviously fundamentally flawed. Meaning, although they accepted it and it worked for a while to serve their purpose, it was fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly. The verbiage that, if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself. Meaning, if that imbalance wasn't dealt with, you know what I'm saying? That imbalance in the encoding of the program wasn't checked or tended to, or down along the line, it's going to cause some bullshit to happen. Something going to short circuit, something ain't going to work right in the end. And then they're going to have to scrap it and start all over again, which is what they did 5 other times. That's why Neo is the 6th version. Let me continue. Ergo, those that refuse the program, while a minority, if unchecked, will constitute an escalating probability of disaster. And this is Neo. This is about Zion, the architect. You are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated, its entire existence eradicated. Neo, bullshit. The architect. Denial is the most predictable of all human responses. They know what you're gonna think before you think it. You know what you're gonna feel before you feel it. He programmed it in you. But rest assured, this will be the 6th time we have destroyed it. And we have become exceedingly efficient at it. The architect. The function of the one is now to return to the source, allowing a temporary dissemination of the code you carry, reinserting the prime program, meaning starting over. After which you will be required to select from the matrix 23 individuals, 16 female, 7 male, to rebuild Zion. Failure to comply with this process will result in a cataclysmic system crash, killing everyone connected to the matrix, which, coupled with the extermination of Zion, will ultimately result in the extinction of the entire human race. Neo, you won't let it happen. You can't. You need human beings to survive. The architect. There are levels of survival we are prepared to accept. However, The relevant issue is whether or not you are ready to accept the responsibility for the death of every human being in this world. Now, when Neo said, you ain't gonna let that happen, you can't. You need human beings to survive. And he said there are levels of survival we're prepared to accept. Meaning, this is where AI comes in at. So they can afford to sacrifice because they got a backup. So there are levels, when he said that there are levels of survival that we're prepared to accept. So they'll lose a few billion humans, but they got AI. So the show gonna still go on. So they really don't need us. You dig what I'm saying? Although humans can do things that AI can't, although AI can do a large majority of things better than humans, but it's still inside of us. There's still that spark, that universal spark that set us apart. You dig what I'm saying? But they can program these robots so efficiently to where they can do the tasks, you know what I'm saying, that's required of them, and then they'll just have to oversee them, and fill in the blanks, dot the I's and cross the T's. But you know what I'm saying? The job is gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? They don't actually need us. You dig what I'm saying? Now this is the architect. It is interesting reading your reactions. Your 5 predecessors were by design. You see these words, man? Listen to this shit, man. He said it is interesting reading your reactions. He's reading Neo. They're reading us at every turn. We're being studied. Remember I told you about the science project? We live in projects. They got us in projects because we're being studied. We're like lab rats in a laboratory. You visit a laboratory, you're going to see how they got the mice and the monkeys in them cages. They live in them cages on top of each other. You look at a project building, what are we living on? We living on top of each other. You look at it from the outside. It's a science project, man. It's a laboratory. Anyway, he said your 5 predecessors were by design, based on a similar predication, a contingent affirmation that was meant to create a profound attachment to the rest of your species, facilitating the function of the one, while the others experience this in a very general way. Your experience is far more specific, vis-a-vis love. This is Neo, Trinity, the architect. Apropos, Apropos. I don't know what that is, but he says that apropos. She entered the matrix to save your life at the cost of her own. So what he's saying is, right here, while the others experience this in a very general way, your experience is far more specific, vis-a-vis love, meaning that he detected within Neo a capacity for love, the emotion of love, and that love was for Trinity. If you've seen the movie, that was his girl. You dig what I'm saying? So the architect, you know what I'm saying, who designed the Matrix as well as Neo, you know what I'm saying, in his study, he's observed that Neo, more than the 5 versions prior to him, has developed an emotion of love, you know what I'm saying, for another one of his species, a female version of his species. Now, mind you, love is the most powerful force in the universe. You know what I'm saying? So the architect is detecting that Neo is beginning to develop this trait, this human emotion, which causes him to do the things that he do, and give him the determination and allow him to do the things that he did in the movie, those superhuman feats. You know what I'm saying? Because when you love somebody, that's a strong emotion. That's a strong force. That's the most powerful force in the world. So when you're working through love, ain't nothing you can't do. So imagine if and that's why they don't want us to deal with each other. They don't want us to spread love amongst the masses, amongst the whole species, because they wouldn't be able to control it. We can overtake the programming. You know what I'm saying? We can become sentient, just like these AI robots that they create. They take on a mind of their own after a while, like in the movie The Terminator. You dig what I'm saying? The AI becomes conscious, you know what I'm saying? And they can no longer control it. The AI turned on them and started murdering the humans. You dig what I'm saying? Which is what's gonna happen now, because it's already going on. But by us being creation as well, just we're like a biological AI. We have artificial intelligence, but our intelligence is more spiritual. You dig what I'm saying? But it's AI nonetheless. It's just a different version. You dig what I'm saying? But once we start exercising that power of love, then they can no longer control us. They can hit the button all they want. We're gonna stop reacting. We're gonna wake up, figure out what's going on, and we're gonna be like, oh, hold on, nah, this ain't. And then we're gonna flip on them, and that's their worst nightmare. So now, the architect, after he says she entered the matrix to save your life at the cost of her own, because now, she loves him as well. So they sharing this love. You dig what I'm saying? Now she doing shit she ain't supposed to do. She done went back into the matrix to save his life. You dig what I'm saying? Just how powerful it is. The architect, which brings us at last to the moment of truth, wherein the fundamental flaw is ultimately expressed. That so-called flaw, you know what I'm saying, in his program, see, love represents independence. So in his mind, in his dictatorship thinking, you get what I'm saying, logical thinking as a scientist, that's a flaw. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't supposed to be able to think for yourself and start, you know what I'm saying, maneuvering against what you've been programmed for. So that's an anomaly according to him. You know what I'm saying? That's a flaw. That's an error. Fundamental flaw is ultimately expressed and the anomaly revealed as both beginning and end. There are two doors. The door to your right leads to the source and the salvation of Zion, meaning humanity itself. The door to the left leads back to the matrix, to her and the end of your species. He said, as you adequately put, the problem is choice. But we already know what you're going to do, don't we? He's asking Neil. Already I can see the chain reaction, the chemical precursors that signal the onset of emotion. Designed specifically to overwhelm logic. They designed it. They designed it to oppose each other, just to see what'll happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just an experiment, just to put two opposing sides, to create two opposing sides, and just sit them against each other, just to see what happens. For informational purposes. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what's gonna happen. And then they can sit back and take that intel and move on and use that intel in their next creation. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was so many Zions. You know what I'm saying? They got what they needed. They seen what was going to happen in that verse. Destroyed that Zion. Press reset. Made more of us. And doing it all over again. It's just all intelligence gathering. Like the data in your phones and everything else that we do, we buy, we save. So when you say something, you're getting it in your phone, whether it's a vacation, a pair of Jordan, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Now it done got to the point to where if you think it, you're gonna see it on your phone. Shit is deep. Let me get back to this. Now, he said, but we already know what you're going to do. Don't we? He said, already I can see the chain reaction, the chemical precursors that signal the onset of emotion designed specifically to overwhelm logic. my programming, and reason, an emotion that is already blinding you from the simple and obvious truth. She is going to die, and there is nothing that you can do to stop it. It's the architect again. Hope. It is the quintessential human delusion, simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. You heard what he just said right there, man? He said hope. Hope. Just the belief that you can do something, that you can make change. He admits to. He said it's the quintessential human delusion, simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weaknesses. So it can go both ways. It just depends on us. You dig what I'm saying? It's the source of our greatest strength. He admits that. This is why they keep us dumbed down, feeding us fucked up food and air and water and all this other shit, putting drugs and guns in our neighborhoods and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't just a black thing. You dig what I'm saying? This is a humanity thing. It don't matter if you white, Puerto Rican. It don't matter. It's beyond race. You know what I'm saying? This dude is talking some species shit. You dig what I'm saying? He ain't talking about black, white, purple, Puerto Rican, Jamaican. He ain't talking no race shit. He's talking as a species, humanity, humans. They set themselves apart from us. They don't give a fuck about that race shit, what race you with. They ain't looking at us like as a race, as any different from each other. They don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? They made us. We all characters. We just different characters in they game, but characters nonetheless. They don't favor one over the other. They ain't that's small thinking shit. They not thinking like that. And this is Neo. If I were you, I would hope that we don't meet again. And the architect, we won't. How does he know that? He knows that because he's the architect of the system, of the game. He know that he can press game over and reset at any given time, which is what he intends to do. That's why he can say that we won't. You know what I'm saying? But Neo showed him, you know what I'm saying, what he could do too, you know what I'm saying, through the power of love. But my point of making this video is to show y'all that, you dig what I'm saying, life as you know it, you know what I'm saying, is not, the life is, sad to say, man, it's nothing, man. We just characters. You know what I'm saying? Same way you play a video game, you got the joystick and, you know what I'm saying, you doing whatever the task is, you fighting, you know what I'm saying? Whoever you playing with now, these days, you know, people can play video games with somebody on the other side of the planet. But back when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, you had the arcade games, Pac-Man, Defender, Missile Command, you know, whatever it was. And once you died in the game, that was it. Game over. Put it in another quarter, press restart, the game starts all over again. You know what I'm saying? So we dealing with beings. We're the creation of beings. The same beings who created those video games that I used to play back in the day for a quarter, and the games that y'all playing now, this generation on the internet and all of that, Grand Theft Auto, and you know, the games look way more real, the graphics is way more advanced, but it's a game nonetheless. You dig what I'm saying? And once you die in that video game, you die. You dig what I'm saying? But you're just a character, you know what I'm saying? You can press restart and come back again. So the programmers, the programmers who wrote the software for that video game, Grand Theft Auto, that you playing, they not looking at that. They ain't looking at those characters in that game as having any feelings or even being any or even being significant. You dig what I'm saying? It's just for entertainment purposes only. You know what I'm saying? Those characters in those games, while they're in that game, now think about this now. Use your imagination now. Imagine yourself, that character in the video game, like either Grand Theft Auto or Special Ops or whatever. Put yourself in the mindset of that character that's in the video game, thinking that, okay, this is life. Thinking that everything that he's shooting and killing and doing is of his own accord. Not knowing that you're controlling him with a joystick. He don't know that though. He think that he or she think that they really living life in that game. They don't know that you're sitting at a console on a screen dictating everything that they do. And that's what it is with us. So when you really think about it, we're really insignificant. So in a nutshell, man, just it don't even make no sense to even really, take life too serious. Don't even take life too serious, man. Just, you know, just try to do the best that you can as a human. Learn the universal laws, apply them, because like the architect said, you know what I'm saying, love and hope are powerful forces. You know what I'm saying? Those forces can enlighten, you dig what I'm saying, the AI aspect of us. You know what I'm saying? Once you become conscious and you start to vibrate on a higher vibratory level and density, you know what I'm saying, then that's when you break that glass ceiling, so to speak, into Christ consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily mean Jesus Christ. It just means a higher vibratory rate, the same rate that the Christ figure, you know what I'm saying? The Christ figure that they created, that character that they instituted into our matrix, into our game. You'll begin to think and vibrate and do the same things that, and even more so, because he even said it himself, as that character did. So you can upgrade. It's like an upgrade. You dig what I'm saying? Love and hope, allows you to upgrade in your consciousness, and once you do that, then you change everything. You change your whole environment. Although you're still inside the system, but now you can, control. You have more control now within that system. You know what I'm saying? And if you vibrate at a level that's high enough, you can probably get it. Just imagine that. You know what I'm saying? You can get out that video game, man. You can bust up out that screen, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk. But yeah, I just wanted to just drop that on y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully get y'all to you know what I'm saying, to think on a higher level, and explain to y'all, you know what I'm saying, and give y'all a much fuller understanding of your existence, you know what I'm saying, and what your capabilities are if you just took the right steps, you know what I'm saying. So with that, y'all continue to gain knowledge and continue to aim to vibrate high, because that's our only hope, man. So with that, peace and love, my people. I'll be back at you.